Hello everybody, this is a qualitative research method course from Bahçeşehir University. I'm Behnam Mirpur, and today I'm going to talk about the case study qualitative research approach. Let's get started. Let's take a look at the table of content. First, I will cover the types of qualitative research approaches. Then I will mainly talk about the case study research approach, and then I go through the definitions and background, defining features of a case studies, type of case studies, procedures for conducting a case study research, and at the end, I'm going to talk about the challenges. There are 5 qualitative approaches to inquiry: narrative research, phenomenological research, grounded theory research, ethnographic research, and case study research. As I mentioned before, today I'm going to talk about the case study research. Here is a definition and background of the case study research. Case study research is a qualitative approach in which the investigator explores a real-life, contemporary bounded system, a case, or multiple bounded systems, cases, over time through detailed, in-depth data collection involving multiple sources of information such as observation, interviews, audiovisual material, and documents and reports a case study description and case themes. The unit of analysis in the case study might be multiple cases or a single case. The case study approach is familiar to social sciences because of its popularity in psychology, medicine, law, and political science. Let's go through the features of a case study. Case study approach begins with the identification of a specific case. This case may be concrete entity such as individual, small group, an organization, or partnership. The intent of conducting the case study is also important. A qualitative case study can be composed to illustrate a unique case, a case that has unusual interest in and of itself and needs to be described and detailed. This is called an intrinsic case. On the other hand, the intent of the case study may be to understand a specific issue, problem, or concern, such as teenager pregnancy, and a case or cases were selected to best understand the problem. This is called an instrumental case. A hallmark of a good qualitative case study is that it presents an in-depth understanding of the case. In order to accomplish this, the researcher collects many forms of the qualitative data, ranging from interviews to observation, documents, and audiovisual. The selection of how to approach the data analysis in a case study will differ. Some case studies involve the analysis of multiple units within the case, while others report on the entire case. A key to understanding analysis also is that good case study research involves a description of the case. This description applies to both intrinsic and instrumental case studies. And the last stage, case studies often end with conclusion formed by the researcher about the overall meaning derived from the cases. These are called assertion or explanation. In the next slide, I'm going to talk about the types of case studies. Types of qualitative case studies are distinguished by the size of the bounded case, such as whether the case involves one individual, several individuals, a group, entire program, or an activity. They may also be distinguished in terms of the intent of the content of case studies. 3 variations exist in terms of the intent: the single instrumental case study, the collective or multiple case study, and the intrinsic case study. In a single instrumental case study, the researcher focuses on an issue or concern, and then selects one bounded case to illustrate this issue. In a collective case study, one issue or concern is again selected, but the researcher selects multiple case studies to illustrate the issue. The final type of case study design is an intrinsic case study in which the focus is on the case itself. Now let's take a look at the procedures for conducting a case study. First, we need to determine if a case study approach is appropriate for studying a problem. Then we need to identify the case or cases, such as individual, a program, event, or an activities. Then we need to consider how to collect the data through observations, interviews, documents, and individual materials. The next stage, we need to analyze the data, and it includes holistic, embedded, within case, and cross-case analysis. And again, we need to report the meaning of the case. Through the case study research approach, there are some challenges, such as identification of the case, deciding which bounded system to study, considering whether to study a single cases or multiple cases, establishing a rational for purposeful sampling strategy, having enough information to present an in-depth picture of the case, deciding the boundaries of a case, and the setting boundaries that adequately surrounded the case in terms of having clean beginning and ending point. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for paying attention.